Merrifield's Gardening Advisor, brought to you by the experts at Merrifield Garden Center. Join us as we discover beautiful plants, new trends, and exciting ideas for your landscape. So let's get growing together. Merrifield's Gardening Advisor, bringing out the best in your garden.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us on Merrifield's Gardening Advisor. I'm David Yost, and joining me today is Renetta Holt. So glad you could be here.
Thanks, David. Good to be here, as always.
Yeah. Well, Renetta, we've done this program several times together, and it's always a pleasure. And a lot of times you bring in something a little different topic, and I think you've got something a little different on the agenda today for us as well.
I do. You know, every week we show you beautiful plants, beautiful flowers, help you with your gardening. And today, I want you to think about the fact that most of the things that you see at Merrifield Garden Center don't just appear. They have to come from somewhere, and today we're going to give you a little backstage, behind-the-scenes view of Merrifield, and so you can see exactly how we work and how we're different from everybody else.
Yeah, when you say the plants don't just appear, this is a really interesting time of year, because if you come in right now, it's sort of like the beds might look empty, but then literally, like in a period of a week or two, suddenly they're just packed full. So it does give the appearance that they arrive suddenly, but like I say, we know there's a lot more than that goes into it.
That's for sure. The next 2 weeks we're going to be hitting it hard.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, before we get into the details on today's program, I did want to let you know what's going on with our seminars at each one of the 3 locations. Again, the seminars, we really appreciate everybody coming out. It's just been phenomenal. Frequently, I know on the weekends we're there at standing room only, so it's everybody's having a great time in these great classes. They're free, they're educational, and if you can get there a few minutes early, make sure you get a good seat. That's always a good idea. Now, out at our Merrifield location, right there at Gallows Road and Lee Highway, the presentation is on curb appeal. Seth Warner, one of our other very talented designers, has been with us for several years. He's going to give you a lot of pointers on how to make your house look its best. So that's something you definitely want to check out, and everybody should be interested in. And then let's see what's going on out at our Fair Oaks store. Fair
Oaks, we've got Peggy Beer doing gardening in small spaces. She's probably going to be talking to you about the different things you can do with pots and annuals, and if you just don't have a big huge property, how you can maximize the use of your property. And Peggy, as we all know, usually gets a huge response. So again, if you can get there a little bit before 10 o'clock, that's at our Fair Oaks location at 12101 Lee Highway in Fairfax.
Yeah, and then, like I said, we have things going all 3 of our store locations. So out at Gainesville, and if you haven't been there, then you need to go. It's been open for several years, but sometimes people are still discovering. It's a beautiful store. Each one gets a little bigger, and each one has a little different character. But out there at the Gainesville store, I believe it's Michael Fay, right? Michael Fay, who was on the program with me 2 weeks ago. So you know Michael. He always has a fantastic presentation as well. Very, very into what he's doing, and he works specifically on trees, though he's got the broad background. And he's going to be talking about the spring flowering trees. I know with the way this winter has been, I keep saying there's this cabin fever. Everybody's got all this pent-up gardening energy, can't wait till spring. So the trees that come into bloom and announcing the arrival of spring, you definitely want to go check that out as well, because Mike will be showing you some of the best and prettiest and showiest and durable. And
he's a great speaker too, so you'll enjoy that.
Exactly, definitely gets you excited about that. And then just kind of give you a heads up of what's going on next week. Again, because these seminars will continue all the way up until April. But next week we'll be having topics on native plants, spring lawn care, shade gardens. So there's always something there to hold your interest. So hope to see you there. Now, we're going to get into today's program. So we're kind of a behind-the-scenes look at Merrifield Garden Center, and some of the things that we do might be a little different from some of the other nurseries out there, and give you an idea of the efforts that we go through to bring really the best plants and products to you.
That's right. We do work as a team. We're a family at Merrifield Garden Center, and I've been trying to do this show for a year. And what's prompted it is when I go and I have my customers meet me at Merrifield and we walk around, I hear from them over and over again, I didn't know you had that. I didn't know you did that. That's really cool. So I thought that we would share that today with you all. And we're going to start with the first picture of where it all begins. Isn't that a great picture, David?
Oh yeah, that doesn't look like it's around here though.
No, it's not. It's a little bit further west. This is one of our growers in Oregon. And in order to bring you the finest plants at Merrifield, we have our managers go to growers all over the United States. We have local ones in Maryland and Virginia. We have quite a few in Tennessee. We go all the way to Oregon, California. So you can count on the fact that we're bringing in wonderful plants from all over the United States for you.
Yeah, I think I've heard that the buying team goes out and visits, I think, well over over 100 nurseries or something over the course of a year.
That's right, and they do it all year round too. In the next picture, you're going to see Tim in action. He's one of our managers over at the Merrifield store, and he's one of the team members that go out. They actually, believe it or not, hand tag every tree that you will find at Merrifield.
Right. Well, that's really plants. That's our business, and we go to this kind of effort to really get you the best selections out there, because we found, a lot of people you can buy from brokers who will select and just send you 10 of this or 10 of that, but it's worth that extra effort to go out there and say, I want this one, I want this one, and we put that name tag on it so it makes sure that we're getting the best plants for our customers.
Exactly. And here you see Tim again and Joel, and they're tagging some boxwoods. Again, it's a little bit unusual practice that we do that and not just have the plants delivered, but it's nice that they go out and they look at the actual crops. They actually examine the plants, look at them, examine them for disease and pests, and they hand pick the best ones. And they do it all year round. Here you see Andy with a big smile on his face. He enjoys what he's doing. It looks like it's a little cold there, but measuring the trees, making sure that what we buy for you is the best for your money in terms of size, shape. They look at all of that. So you are really getting hand-selected plants when you come to Merrifield Garden Center.
Right, and I know that the owner, Bob, is also fond of saying, hey, we go through this effort. It's expensive. We send our teams of people out to all these nurseries all over the country, hand selecting the plants to bring you the best, but the only way it really works is if you come in and continue to purchase the best from us.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important that you know what's going on. And Renetta, you were in our landscape department primarily, so
Yes.
I know as a designer you appreciate having the quality of plants and materials to work with.
I absolutely am telling the truth when I say that if I was not working at Merrifield Garden Center, I don't know where I would work, in that I have everything at my fingertips. I have wonderful crews, everything I can hand select, and we're good to go.
Exactly. So whether you're working through our landscape department or just doing your own gardening, like I said, hope you'll come in and see us. Well, we're going to take a quick break right now, but stay with us. We've got a lot of interesting things for you in the show ahead. Good morning, and if you're just joining us, Renetta Holtz with me today, one of our landscape designers, and she's taking us on a behind-the-scenes tour of Merrifield Garden Center. And I forgot to mention earlier on, we've got so much stuff that we want to talk about today. We will not be taking your phone calls, but that's just to allow us a little extra time to show you all the unique things that we do.
Well, we have so much to talk about. We almost could have done 2 shows out of it. No, we're going to give you a little behind-the-scenes backstage view.
All right, so we were just talking about how we send the crews out and hand select and hand tag these trees and shrubs and all the plants that we do to make sure that we bring the best to all of our customers.
Right, so after the plants have been chosen, we start getting the trucks in. Now this looks like a nice winter scene of evergreens coming into Merrifield, but actually, David, you told me this picture was taken exactly a year ago.
Well, I hope we don't see a replay of that, but this has obviously been a cold winter. But yeah, this was taken in March of last year, so it's not unusual to get these March storms in here. But like I say, it doesn't stop us from getting ready for the spring season.
Right. Usually right about this time, the first 2-3 weeks in March, we're really getting the plants in. We're getting trucks every day, and we're getting a lot of plant material. They've started putting them back out on the lot, so we're getting ready to roll. In the next picture, we're going to fast forward to the kind of weather we want to see. You can see that we remain fully stocked. We just have, we've got 40 acres at the Gainesville location and also 40 acres at Fair Oaks, and you can see that it's just stock full of plants. We also keep a great back stock for you, and we constantly replenish the beds with fresh plants.
Right, now I know a lot of nurseries and garden centers just shut down for the winter time, and that's one of the things that we do that's a little bit different also. We can have plants available to you year round. It's just when what we do is we'll take the plants and we'll move them into sheltered houses, like I said, and then start bringing them back in at this time of year, ultimately resulting in that huge selection that you just saw.
Right, and in the previous slide that we just saw, you have a nice aerial view of the Fair Oaks location, just bursting with color. And I'm telling you, I had to wear my robin's egg blue blouse today because I just can't stand any more gray or black. But one of the other things I wanted to mention is, besides hand tagging the trees and shrubs for Merrifield, David, you touched on this, in our annuals and perennials department, we don't just take potluck. We have many growers that actually custom fit the orders to Merrifield, so that in response to what our customers want and what our customers are asking for and like to purchase, our growers will accommodate us with that, so that we're just zeroing in on exactly what our customers need.
Exactly. I've seen our managers have been meeting with those growers and laying out sort of what our expectations are for the quality.
That's right.
We inspect the plants, and I get involved in that sometimes as they're coming off the truck. We inspect and make sure that they're living up and meeting those expectations.
That's right, and we won't accept the plants if they're subpar. If we see anything wrong with them, we'll put them back on the truck and send them back, and because we want to give you the best quality available.
Right, and the annuals and perennials, of course, they're generally more locally grown. They're not coming from the West Coast, but again, we are buying from here in our region and everything to make sure that they're always getting to you in the best condition.
That's right. Then what happens to them after they get on the lot? We're going to look at the next picture here, and they don't just come on the lot and we don't attend to them. We water them, and you can see Meryl here tending to them. We have our salespeople out there watering, they're fertilizing, they're deadheading, they're constantly inspecting the plants for any kind of problems, making sure they stay in tip-top quality till they get to your house. And I also want to mention at this point, the people that you see on the lot are far more than salespeople. They're horticulturists. Meryl's a designer. We always have a full array of educated personnel on our lot and in our stores, so that when you come in, we can help teach you how to be a better gardener. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you feel like you've got a brown thumb, don't worry about it. We've got literature, we've got all the knowledge in the world with all our employees, and we encourage you to come down, ask questions, especially now. We are sick to death of the cold, I'm telling you. We want to talk plants, we want to talk gardens. We really want you to come in and pick our brains, because we're ready for you.
Yeah, and I've noticed that we've had a little bit increase. People are starting to come in. It's supposed to be nice weather today, so it would be a great opportunity to come in and start making those plans.
Right. So when you're ready to start shopping, you can come into Merrifield. Here's a great picture of just a portion of our rose selection. We carry a full complement of roses, and we're also looking for specimen things to bring in that are a little bit different. You can always find something unusual at our store. But let's say you're ready to shop, and I don't know, you've been to the gym and you're really tired, and you want to go shop and you want to buy your stuff, but you just don't feel like walking around 40 acres. Well, we can help you out there too. If you come to Fair Oaks or to the Gainesville location, we've got golf carts, and we will happily drive you around if there's some reason that you don't want to walk or you're not able to. We're a full-service garden center. We will help you choose your plants. We will load your plants for you. All you have to do is walk around and point out what you want, and we'll help you out.
That's a good point. On a cold day like that, it's nice to get a little bit of a ride down there, because I know sometimes customers just want to enjoy a leisurely walk, stroll through the nursery, and that's fine. But
sometimes they want to scoot through.
If you're on the agenda or the weather's less than ideal, then we'll work that out too.
That's right. So then, after you've made your selection, and you bought something big like this magnolia, how are you going to get it to your house? Well, we deliver to your door. We have all kinds of vehicles, and believe me, all kinds of vehicles at Merrifield. This is called a piggyback truck, and it's cool. If you look on the back, you see the little blue forklift, so that if you have chosen a large specimen plant, like this blue spruce here, if it's too big for the crew to carry to the site or to use a ball cart to get to the site, we can come with the forklift truck, and we can dig the hole and bring that little forklift right to you.
Right, so even if you want to do the planting yourself, like I said, we'll bring that to you, or we'll do the whole installation. So again, we're completely flexible. I think a lot of times we have a reputation, people say, oh, well, we only do really big jobs.
No.
But just like you've seen there, we'll plant a single tree.
Sure.
We've gone out and planted a single rose.
We have.
At times.
We
I mean,
have.
so there's really nothing that's too big or too small. For, you know,
exactly, David,
that's what we
right.
try to do, is accommodate everybody, whatever their needs are.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So I guess we're ready for another break?
Yep. Okay, we're going to get the call here. We're going for another break, but stick with us because we've got a lot of great things when we come back.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody. And we just left off with if you were coming into one of our garden centers and looking and selecting plants and how we can get them home to you. It doesn't matter how big or how small they are, help with the planting or delivery, those kind of services. We're going to kind of continue along that line.
We are.
You're making your choice of plants, and let's just go from there.
Well, I don't know about you, but the older I get, the less I want to wait for something. So I'm kind of into instant gratification. But that could present a problem if you want a more mature tree and you wonder, how in the world am I going to get a mature tree onto my property? Well, in the next picture, we can crane it in for you.
Yeah, so you're talking about, you know, having that piggyback truck and using that to move plants. Well, like I
Now
said,
we've stepped it up a bit.
right, so you know, I know we've used this crane, whether it's for removing really large trees that we've had to do sometimes, but yeah, this is perfect use for it, moving that humongous tree into place.
Right, and a question that comes up very often for me, as you'll see in the next slide, where we're going to be moving a large, very large specimen Japanese maple. Sometimes in this area, people are moving from one home to another, and they want to take an important plant with them. In this case, you've got a mature specimen Japanese maple, very expensive tree. That tree has been growing for quite some time because they have a slow growth rate, as you know. And so you can see the size of the root ball, and you can see the hole behind it. But it's nice that if that were to be an issue of yours, you know, something that perhaps you had planted years ago, that you can actually take your plant with you in a lot of cases, and we can help move it for you.
Right, but you look at that beautiful tree, and that is really going to make the landscape there. I mean, it's a focal point right there at the front door. It needs to be in scale with the home and everything.
Right.
So you could imagine if you put a little small baby tree in there, it would just, you'd be what, waiting 15, 20 years before it grew up to size and be in scale.
Right. And this is a good time to talk about when's the right time to transplant a tree. What do you think? What's your opinion, David?
Well, of course, we always recommend, you know, you can plant any time of year.
Right.
But those are trees that were dug, they're balled and burlapped and waiting to go in the ground. But as far as if you're transplanting, like Renetta's saying, if you're moving a tree from one home to another, right now is an excellent time. We like to move them while they're dormant. So don't feel like you have to wait around till April or May or June when things are all lush. This is a good time to get started. So if you needed an estimate of what it would cost to come out and transplant or something like that, there's no reason you need to wait. Or if you came in the garden center and you found some trees that you enjoyed, there's no reason you need to wait on that either. We could go do our planting today.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter how cold it is. Like you said, the plants, they live outside, so
Absolutely.
they wouldn't mind being transplanted right now.
Yeah.
But let's say even that's not big enough for you. You want
It goes no further than this?
It goes further than that. You want instant gratification. Have you ever seen, well, you've seen this contraption. This is called a tree spade, and this is a really neat piece of equipment. We have several of them. They can dig a tree out of a lot, a very mature tree. What's nice is it cuts the roots so it doesn't really damage them by tearing them or ripping them, and it brings the tree out in a very nice, neat, kind of an ice cream cone shaped root ball. This tree spade flips back over the big truck. You can transport it right in that tree spade to where it's going, and bam, look at that. Now we're talking instant gratification.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to do it or something. So I think that's what we're talking about with the plants, you know, whether we're talking about annuals, perennials, trees, shrubs, little ones, big ones, delivery, installation, whatever. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this business to make that landscape as beautiful as it is.
There is, and that's why we wanted to do this show. I had a customer come in the other day, and I was taking her to the back of Merrifield to show her some pavers and for a project that we're potentially doing. And it took about 25 minutes to get to the back of the property because she kept stopping and looking at the stones and admiring the boulders. And in the next shot, you're going to see part of our stone yard. And again, at all three locations, we are pretty much one-stop shopping. We have many, many pallets of stone, and just like the plants, the stones just don't come on a truck and we go yay or nay on the stones. Our managers go out, again, all around the United States during the year, and they actually hand-pick the stones and the boulders and everything that you see on our stone lot.
Yeah, and we do have this huge selection. And it's so nice when you have a customer like that that's making you stop and look all the time. Because I work there, I'm there all the time, and you wouldn't believe how often I just walk past things without truly seeing them. Mm-hmm. But the customer will stop and they'll have something in their basket. I'm like, well, where did you get that?
Where'd you find that?
So even though I've been working there 18 years now, I still discover things there all the time.
Well, I do too. And here's yet another shot of our stone yard where you can see a lot of the different kinds of flagstone. We've got the local Pennsylvania stone that it comes in the blues and grays that we're really familiar with, but we work really hard to bring flagstone in from other parts of the United States. Tennessee, we've got the Tennessee flagstone there that you can see, and that really would set off a nice patio or a walkway in a little bit of a different color. I think, again, sometimes I get a little weary of the blues and the grays, and I like changing it up with some of the different colors that we have.
Right. Well, like I said, we always think of landscape design with the plants and the leaves and the flowers and all the color and texture of the plants, but I'm sure as a designer, like I said, when you have all these colors and textures and shapes within even the stone, or sometimes you call the hardscape and pavers, that's got to be fantastic.
Well, it is. It's just, again, variety at our fingertips, and here you see it in a little bit of an aerial view of our Gainesville location. This is just a portion of the stone that we have out there. Again, you can see the pallets lined up, and in the back, sort of toward the left, you can see our pallets of pavers as well. And we do carry several different lines of pavers that come from the United States and Canada. Again, I don't know why you would need to go anyplace else other than come and talk to our people out at Merrifield. Again, we have stone specialists at all the locations as well. So if you think that you might want to take on one of your own projects, building your own patio or walkway, we can certainly help you with that. We can help teach you what to do, how to lay the patio, and how to maintain it as well.
Right, and I should also mention we actually supply to other contractors as well in the industry. So that's one of the things that allows us, I say, to have this huge selection of plants, the building materials, it's everything, because we're there basically to serve everybody.
We are. And now that everybody's getting a little bit of cabin fever, what I like to suggest is, while it's still cold, before the designers and all of us in the store get really, really busy, it's starting to ramp up. Now's a good time to actually not only come in and talk to us, but if you do want any landscaping done and you think you need a site visit, now's a great time to get that lead in, because the designers still have time to get to you in a timely manner. We try very hard to get to all of our customers quickly and to get designs done quickly and back to you, but now's the perfect time because it will get busy really shortly here, as soon as the weather breaks. Well,
and we know it's going to be a nice weekend, so we've actually brought a few cool season vegetables and a few annuals, and we've got hellebores in full bloom. I mean, there's lots of stuff going on right now.
That's
but we're going to take a quick commercial break, is what we're doing right now this instant. We've got a lot more for you when we come back. Good morning. Well, Renetta's here with us today, and we've been talking about all the plants and the building materials and all the things that we work so hard to get for you. Now we're going to switch gears and how we put those to work in the landscape. So I'm going to let you take it from here.
That's right. We've got all these wonderful things at Merrifield, and here, you know, look at this boulder. We do lots of landscaping, and boulders are a great landscape accent. We love plants. I'm a plant person, but I have to tell you that rocks are great. If you really want low maintenance, you don't have to water them. You don't have to fertilize them. You don't have to prune them. You just put them in your landscape, and you can use them in different ways, as a bench. Some people have used them as a tabletop. And again, if you want something big, we can certainly get it there for you. In the next slide, what you're going to see is a really very beautiful landscape done by one of our designers. And what I love about this picture is that you can see a lot of the different types of stone incorporated into this landscape. In the foreground, what you see is what we call broken flagstone. And this is a Pennsylvania flagstone. Broken, it gives a more rustic, a more natural appearance to your landscape, very informal, a very good backyard use. Sometimes in the front yard it's just a little bit too casual. And in this element it's dry laid, meaning it's not in mortar, it's laid on stone dust and gravel. So you see that in the foreground. Then near the tables, you see a little bit more formal application. And this is the Pennsylvania flagstone laid in what we call a modular pattern, or random. Everything is a square or a rectangle. But again, you can see the wonderful variation of color, of the tans and browns. And then we also have these slab steps that you can see. And this is something relatively new that we've been carrying. People want things clean, they want things smooth and safe and level, and this is a nice way to get a very clean, safe step. These slabs come in different sizes, 3 feet to 5 feet typically, and we can just lay them next to each other to form nice steps. And then again, in the background, you can see the boulders that we have that we've laid around. You can even use them as a table if they're flat enough, or just as an accent or a seat.
Yeah. I might just add in there, one of the things I think is really neat, Renette, is, or emphasizes that all this we do in-house. You know, really, you're just working that one contact person, designers there to facilitate all this. So everything you see in here, from the design, from the plantings, the construction, you know, every bit of this is managed really just through your designer. Exactly,
that's a good point. I'm glad you reminded me about that. And this is another question that I've been getting more and more lately. It's about subcontractors, and do we subcontract? And basically, we don't subcontract anything out. And we prefer to do it that way because as a consumer, you know that when you're going to be spending money on a landscape project or even any kind of a home improvement project, one of the most frustrating things is if you cannot move through your project in a timely manner, and you're taking time off from work and you're trying to get things done, but the electrician doesn't show up. And until the electrician shows up, you can't do the next step. So what's nice is with all of us in our busy schedules, you can just get one of our designers, myself or any of the other designers, to come help you. We will do the site visit for you. We will give you the proposal. We'll do your design for you, we'll oversee the project, and we'll coordinate all these parts together. In this landscape here, you can see something that we've been getting a lot of requests for, which is a fire pit. And we can do custom fire pits, which is what this one is. The fire features are really becoming popular, a very big deal.
Well, I mean, that just extends your enjoyment of that outdoor living so much, whether it's sitting by the fire when it's cold, or a place to have a little cookout when it's nice outside, you know.
Exactly.
And I love, again, we talk about all the effort we go through to get all the different building materials and plants.
Right.
And we've got those on hand so we can make these beautiful creations come to life.
Right. And when I look at this, you know, again, I'm feeling like spring. I really want to sit out there and look at the beautiful flowers blooming. And again, you know, this is just, it's a whole entire package that can be provided for you. In the next shot, we're going to go to some kind of special projects. Again, David had mentioned earlier that no job is too big or too small or too unusual for Merrifield to tackle.
Yeah, I know you've got an interesting story on this one, so I'll let you tell that.
Let me tell my story. I was approached by Centerville High School several years ago, and they had received this donation of this beautiful bronze wildcat statue, and they wanted it installed in front of the high school. Their mascot is the Wildcats, and the problem was, sometimes with things like this in a public place, security is an issue, and you wonder, how in the world am I going to get this here and have nothing happen to it? So what I did is I found this really wonderful boulder, and in our garage we actually had some of our crew members carve the top out of that boulder about an inch down, and we built clamps, and we actually clamped the Wildcat statue to the boulder and installed it on site for Centerville High School. So, you know, if you have an unusual project for your church or school or community, don't be afraid to come ask us, you know, to help you with it. We can certainly come up with something. Then I want to talk to you again about, we talked about fire features a little bit, and not only fire pits but fireplaces are really in vogue. And we've been building custom fireplaces outdoors for quite some time. But what I wanted to talk about just a little bit is now we have modular fireplaces. And a lot of the companies that we deal with have these 2 or 3 piece fire pit or fireplace, pardon me, kits. And they can be installed very easily. A base is built on your property, and then we come with a little forklift, and we can easily put it in place. Everything's all together, and within a day or a day and a half, you can have a fireplace. This is a project that I did, and I like to show my projects not only finished but in progress. And this is a very simple patio with some seat walls. We've changed the paving pattern up just a bit to make it a little bit more cozy, a little bit more comfortable to sit in, and we've included the fireplace in it. So that's something that you can come and talk to us about as well. And then if you need some accents, we've got some wonderful accents in terms of pots. We have, it is pot world out there. We have everything from concrete, we've got ceramic pots, we've got glazed pots, terracotta. So to add accent pieces to your landscape, we can help you out there if you want a small water feature. We've got plenty of fountains in our statuary department, from the simplest fountain to just about anything, and we can custom order for you just about any kind of fountain or water element that you might like to enhance your landscape. And we're going to end this segment on, again, more pots. Again, when I see color at this time of year, I just feel like, oh, I've got to get my annuals in, I've got to get these things on my deck, I've got to enhance my landscape.
You're right, and it's getting to be time to do that.
All right.
But it's great seeing how all these elements come together in a finished landscape. We're going to have to take a commercial break right now, but you've got a lot more great examples for us when we come back. Well, Renetta has been giving us some really fantastic insight what goes in to actually make a landscape come together, all the way from where we get these plants and the stone products and how it all comes together. Maybe you can kind of walk us through a little bit of the design process if somebody's interested, whether it's just in doing a little enhancement or a major redo of their landscape.
Right. Well, you know, and I have to say, I have to get this in, I love my job. And so being a designer anywhere is a great job. Get to work outdoors, get to help people make things pretty, and best of all, I get to spend people's money, and I love doing that. I want to talk a little bit about our design services. At any time, we have people on the lot that can help you out with a design. If you just have a little bed in the front of your house, or if you've had a tree come down and you don't know what to plant there instead, we have free design services at all of our locations. So what you can do is you can come in with your photographs, you can sketch out a little picture of your bed, and the more information you can bring us, the better we can help you. We like to know, the important things are the measurements of the area so that we pick the appropriate size plant, and also very important is the exposure. How much sun do you get? how much shade you get, and what time of the day do you get that. It's amazing how many people come in, and because they're at work all day, they just don't quite realize, you know, how much morning sun am I getting? How much afternoon shade? And that's something, the more you can do there, the more we can help you. And so we can draw out a little sketch for you and actually help right at the moment, help you shop for your things online at Merrifield. Also, you can do a landscape request form online, and that would get a designer out to your home for a nominal fee, and we can design something for you and again help you implement your landscape.
Yeah, I know. I recommend that a lot to customers
Yes.
who will come in for that in-house consultation, bring some their pictures. If you're new to this and you don't know designers, it's a good way sort of, you know, get in, get your feet wet. A lot of times that will result in saying, you know, this is a little more involved than what we're going to do here. I need to have somebody come out to the home, but it's a good starting point.
That's right. I think that a lot of people come through and they see all these beautiful plants and trees and they get a little bit overwhelmed. And what we can do is help gear you in the right direction. And again, I can't stress enough that we are here to help you, to help teach you, and to help you be a happy gardener.
Right. This design is obviously not a do-it-yourself in-house console.
No,
right.
although
it's pretty elaborate what we're showing here.
This is very elaborate. Although I have to admit that I have one or two customers that have done projects like this on their own. I don't know how they've done it, but they've done a beautiful job. This is an in-house Merrifield project that we've done. Again, using the flagstone, very nice, relatively formal patio. One of the reasons I really like this is people like curves typically, and they ask for these organic shapes and things. I'm going to stand back just for a moment and show you.
I'll get out of the way as well.
This is a very geometric, very modular patio, but in no way is it cold or unwelcoming or makes you feel like it's sterile or commercial. It's very warm, it's very welcoming. We have a couple of small water features in there. And again, something that I want to mention is that we do provide lighting. We have electricians that are on staff that can help do low voltage lighting or help you out with any other electrical needs you may have.
Yeah, I have to say that's really my favorite style of design. They call sort of taking a pattern, repeating it in there in several ways, that contemporary look. I love that. But again, we fit that landscape to the person's style, needs, preferences, the site. And the next picture, you see a totally different look.
A totally different look. This is something
just as beautiful, though.
Just as beautiful, and this employs a lot of different elements. This is a dry laid paver patio, and again, I'm going to step aside just for a moment so that you can get the full impact of this. This project was just finished this fall, and it shows a very nice outdoor living space. You can see also the use of the river jack stone on the side, which is helping in drainage and also adds a beautiful element to the landscape. And the pergola on top. I want to take a moment to mention the fact that we have always, as I said, been able to build custom pergolas and fences and elements, but now we're partnering with a company called Walpole Woodworkers out of Great Falls, and they make beautiful both resin and wood products that we will install for you to help enhance your landscape. And this one, you see a beautiful pergola and little fence in the back, and also the awning that's retractable that can help you on a real sunny day. Now I want to switch gears just a little bit and let you know that in order to help you with your landscaping and being a full-service garden center, we do a lot of recycling and making our own products. Right here you can see us making our topsoil. We actually bring soil in to the garden center, and we can sift out any debris. This machine that you see in the background is a soil sifter. We run it through the machine several times, and we end up with a fine sifted product, which we add 25% organic compost to. So when you get our topsoil, it's less compactable, and it's very good for the plants. And I want to finish by talking about a little story. We also mix a lot of our own products, like our planting mix. And I was telling my coworkers that everybody loves Merrifield planting mix. Everybody. This is my bag. It overwintered last winter in my shed. So in the spring, I came out and I was cleaning my shed and, you know, checking my bags to see what I had and what I had left and needed to beef up on. And when I looked inside my opened Merrifield planting mix, I had a little bit of a surprise, as you're going to see. I peeked in and I had a little forest of oak trees growing out of my planting mix bag, and I thought, what in the world happened there? They're a little anemic, of course, because they've been in the shed all winter. But then I looked inside closely, and I had another little surprise. The squirrels had planted their acorns all winter long in my planting mix, and I actually had quite a few little maple trees and oak trees that I could plant out.
Well, Renetta, when we were talking about trying to teach everybody about gardening and making better gardeners, I wasn't really including the squirrels in that.
I'll tell you, we can help anybody.
God, enough, we can't. Great. That's a cute little story, but stay with us. We've got another segment of the show. We'll see you in just a minute. Well, Renetta, this has really been interesting to see how all the different products and services and everything, and the people it takes to do all this, how it comes together and makes these beautiful landscapes come to life.
Well, I hope it's been interesting. You know, we have so much there. We have so many resources and so many wonderful people that I just kind of wanted our audience to get to meet everybody and see what we did. And you know, just the different things that we provide. So
yeah, because I mean, we could go on and on. Like, people don't even realize we do septic field servicing. You know, cleaning septic tanks.
Like
I mean, it's just, you know, what you did for Centerville High School. I mean, it's just amazing the different range of services that we can provide.
Well, speaking of which, do you need any concrete?
I would love to have a new front walk installed.
Okay, good. We can help you with that. Merrifield we make concrete, and we make it on site, so that's really nice. There isn't any waste, and we can come to your property. We've got a large cement truck and a little one, and we mix the cement right there on site, so it's fresh. There's no waste, and we can use it, you know, for a sidewalk or a new driveway, or as a base for maybe a new patio or something. And we also are a huge recycler of materials. This is, you know, at the end of somebody's concrete patio's life, we have the ability to recycle concrete. And what people don't realize is this is a great resource for a sub base for patios or walkways. We crush it into small gravel-sized pieces, and again, something that people don't realize, it's inexpensive, and when you install that crushed concrete, it kind of binds itself together and holds tightly, almost as if it was poured concrete. So it's a great recyclable material, and we have a good bit of it. So instead of using 57 gravel, if you're interested in something for a sub base and trying to save a little money, you could come and get our crushed concrete.
Yeah, it is amazing how much that we're able to use. I know even in some of the topsoil process, we've been able to take some of those stones and use that as an aggregate material,
right,
you know, as parking lot base material and stuff. So yeah, we don't waste anything.
No, we're a huge recycler. And if you have a project, for instance, that has a lot of trash involved, whether it's plant debris or whether you're cleaning out your basement or something like that, we can deliver to you a dumpster, you know, for how many days you need it, and you can fill it up, and then we'll come take that back and recycle what we can. So that's a nice service to provide too. Sometimes people don't know who to call if they need a dumpster for you know, a time.
Yeah, I'm realizing I could use a lot of Merrifield's help at my house. This will help my decluttering goals, my new sidewalk.
I know. Well, you just better give us a call.
Yeah.
We also do tree work, and this is one of my jobs where we had to take down a holly. We hated to do it, but it was so close to the house, and the root system was compromising the foundation. But that can become problematic with certain companies that don't have the right tools, equipment, or manpower. Here we have Eusebio up in a tree, and he is actually hand cutting that tree. He's nice and tethered and safe, but he took that whole tree down, and not one limb touched that house.
Yeah. Now, I did have Merrifield come out and do a tree removal for me a few years ago, and I've created a new garden in that area. So I've utilized these services myself.
And we can also, if you got a bigger project, we can bring out our cherry picker and we can prune that way. And in one instance, a couple years ago, one of our customers had some really bad bagworm problems on their Leland cypress, and Andy, who you saw early in the show measuring the tree with his hand, had the honor of going up in that cherry picker for about a week and picking bagworms off the customer's Leland cypresses, but they came back pretty well after that.
Yes, tedious work, but saved the tree.
It saved the tree. And we also make firewood at Merrifield. We have firewood that's kiln dried. Here you see it being loaded into the kiln, and so it burns really cleanly and nicely for you. And that's something that we carry as well, and it's been very useful this year for sure. So now, are you tired out, David? Do you need a sandwich?
Yeah, I am getting hungry.
Okay, well, good. Well, you need to come down to our Gainesville location. Both at Gainesville and Merrifield locations, we have a cafe, and you can get a sandwich, or you can even get a glass of wine. And I'm always there at our Gainesville location, not eating sandwiches or drinking wine, but I'm working there on Sundays. So if you need any kind of landscaping advice, you can come see me on Sundays at our Gainesville location, and we're going to just keep our fingers crossed, and we're going to look ahead and take a deep breath and get the grayness out and the cobwebs out of our soul, and we're going to go to the Gainesville location and sit out under the beautiful umbrellas and enjoy the scenery and relax.
That's fantastic. Well, I sure appreciate you showing us all around today. Now, you'll find me out at the Fair Oaks location. I'm there at the plant clinic, like I said, looking at the insects and the disease and stuff. And it's great to be a part of this team and have so many people to rely on for the help. Well, thanks for being here today.
Well, you really need to come visit us. We're waiting to see you.
Okay. And I'll see you next week talking about spring lawn care. So till then, have a great weekend.